Pretty sure we have a terrorist sympathizer working in the halls of Congress, and yet everyone is focused on a tweet the president sent out. It's a tweet. The big story is the al-Qaeda sympathizer, and the fact that Ilhan Omar, she refuses to denounce them, and the fact that Ayanna Pressley refuses to denounce Antifa. Say it with me, ladies. I do not support al-Qaeda. I do not support Antifa. See? See that? It's not that hard, unless it's not true. I do not support al-Qaeda. I do not support al-Qaeda. Look, it's not that hard to say. And yet Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, she won't say that simple sentence. We didn't get that from her. Yesterday, the Hamas caucus, they gave a press conference. Think about this. They took an entire day to plan a press conference to respond to a tweet. I mean, shouldn't their constituents be furious right now? Like, is that what they're paying them to do? To organize a press conference to respond to a 280-character message from the president? Now, should the president have told Ilhan Omar to go back to her original country? Yes. The other three, though, doesn't make a lot of sense. Doesn't really make a lot of sense. I mean, they're from America. But like we said yesterday, Rashida Tlaib, she didn't really seem upset by the fact that the president implied she was not from America. She said, "Excuse me, sir, but I, for one, am very proud of my Palestinian heritage." But Ilhan Omar, who, if you remember, she took a terrorism class. Yeah, she took a very terrorism class. She still will not denounce al-Qaeda. Watch.
Can you respond to some of the president's specific claims, most notably that you're a communist and that you're pro-al-Qaeda?
You might have noticed how when he said, go back to where you came from, there was an uproar through all of our communities, because every single person who's brown and black at some point in their life in this country heard that. Now, when he made the comment, I know that every single Muslim who has lived in this country and across the world has heard that comment. And so I will not dignify it with an answer. I do not expect every time there is a white supremacist who attacks, or there is a white man who kills in a school or in a movie theater or in a mosque or in a synagogue. I don't expect my white community members to respond on whether they love that person or not. And so I think it is beyond time. It's beyond time to ask Muslims to condemn terrorists. We are no longer going to allow the dignification of such ridiculous statement.
So that was not a denunciation. And one more thing. About everyone saying every black and every brown person has been told at some point in their life to go back to their country. I gotta say from personal experience, I've never been told to go back to my country. I don't know, maybe they're saying it behind my back, but I don't think that's a thing unless you espouse foreign ideologies, all right? So asked to denounce communism, asked to denounce al-Qaeda, she skirted it. She skirted it like an Argentinian steak. And then somehow implied that if she has to answer for al-Qaeda, then all white men should have to answer for mass shootings. And it's not true that the president never has to answer for mass shootings. Every time there is a mass shooting, the slops in the media, they come rushing to him, Mr. President, will you denounce the shooter? And he, of course, does. And you know, most white guys you talk to are happy to denounce mass shootings. But she's not happy to denounce al-Qaeda. She's not happy to denounce communism. The problem here is, little missy, is that you will not denounce al-Qaeda. And to this day, we have no record, we have no instance of this woman saying, yes, I denounce al-Qaeda, I denounce terror. So Trump is absolutely right to call her out on that. It's horrifying. Here's what he said about her yesterday.
I mean, I look at Omar, I don't know, I never met her. I hear the way she talks about al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda has killed many Americans. She said you can hold your chest out. You can, when I think of America, when I think of al-Qaeda, I can hold my chest out. When she talked about the World Trade Center being knocked down, some people, you remember the famous some people? These are people that, in my opinion, hate our country.
I mean, he's not wrong. I mean, he's not just making it up. You know, there's all, if you search for Ilhan Omar al-Qaeda on Google, the only thing that comes up are New York Times, CNN, and ABC articles about how the president is lying about her comments on al-Qaeda. Well, watch them for yourself. There is enough evidence out there to raise serious concerns about Ilhan Omar's love for these terrorist groups.
I remember when I was in college, I took a terrorism class, and
is that a such thing?
Yeah, there was.
So there is a lab for that?
There was a class that you.
Do you go to a lab?
No,
go out a field trip.
We learned the ideology of.
I'm glad you do that.
And so it was the thing that was interesting in the class was every time the professor said al-Qaeda, he sort of like his shoulders went up, and you know.
Yeah, he's in command here.
Al-Qaeda, you know, Hasbullah.
He's an expert.
And it was, you know,
what's his name? What put his name on the
Where does he live? Saying his name.
Yeah.
You probably get to see him on CNN. And,
yeah, of course. I love those guys.
But you know, but it is that you don't say America with an intensity. You don't say England with an intensity. You know, you don't say the army with an intensity.
Qaeda.
But you say these names because you want that word to carry weight.
I mean, that's literally what the president said. Lying about her words about al-Qaeda. What, it wasn't an exact quote? He can't paraphrase? You know, al-Qaeda, al-Qaeda. You say it with big strength. And then she's laughing about it or yucking it up with the professor. I mean, she's scoffed at the idea that a professor in America, a professor at a university in America would profess concern and take seriously a terrorist organization like al-Qaeda. I mean, what's so scary about al-Qaeda? Nothing, I guess, if you're one of their supporters. And this flippancy toward our enemy, an enemy that has killed and tortured thousands of people worldwide, it's not an isolated incident. It's not like, oh, come on, now we all find terrorist organizations a little funny from time to time. Give the Congresswoman a break. No, it's a recurring theme with her.
CARE was founded after 9/11 because they recognized that some people did something and that all of us were starting to lose access to our civil liberties.
Some people did something. Those people she's talking about are al-Qaeda. I mean, I truly do not understand how any American could tolerate such a casual dismissal of a terror group like the al-Qaeda thugs. Does Ilhan Omar, does she condone their actions? We don't know because she won't condemn them. You know, not every Muslim in America is on tape yucking it up. They want to say this is Islamophobic. Not every Muslim in America is on tape yucking it up about how funny terrorism is. But speaking of terror, Ayanna Pressley, another member of the squad, she's like the squad's affirmative action pity case. She refused to denounce the Antifa terrorist in the halls of Congress. I mean, is it really hard for her to say that Antifa terrorist who attacked the ICE facility in Washington, is it really that hard for her to say, I disavow?
Really simple question. Will you condemn Antifa for attacking an ICE facility? It's very simple. Will you tell Americans not to attack violently ICE facilities?
Why is it difficult? Why is it difficult? It's difficult because she knows that's her base. And she knows if she disavows, she's going to lose votes. So she cannot disavow. She cannot disavow Antifa terrorists. And then she's all confused when someone calls her un-American. I wonder why.